Now, it happens in two places in the New Testament where Jesus sees the money changers on the steps of the temple. And the money changers are profiting off of the sins of people by, changing the money so that they could buy their sacrificial animals. And, they had to change it into kosher money, and then they'd take a piece of the action. Well, Jesus flipped out. He was very unhappy about this. And in one version of the story, he actually stood there and fashioned a whip. Meaning, he didn't fly off the handle and just go kicking the tables over. He stood there and deliberately took the time to make a whip so that he could hit them and get them off the steps of the temple. So if you're a what would Jesus do kind of person, you have to understand that story shows that there is righteous anger. If he's perfect, as Christians believe, many Christians believe that Jesus of Nazareth, the Savior, is perfect, that means anger is part of being human and part of his experience. So when is anger okay? When you feel it. I'm not saying you should go, please don't fashion a whip and go hitting people that upset you. That's not what I meant.
Sounds like some 50 Shades.
Yeah, no. If it's consensual, do what you gotta do. But anger is just part of life. It's how you express it and what you do to act that out. We don't go harming people, but we don't go harming ourselves by holding it in.
Yeah, and realizing all of these difficult emotions that we're not supposed to have, they do have a good purpose to them. And like we had mentioned before, anger, is about boundaries. Fear, we think fear, we got to conquer fear and be fearless, but fear is a very valid and important emotion. So if you're out in the woods and you hear something rustling, you could be fearless and stand there, or you could be like, oh my God, it could be a bear, let me get the hell out of here, all of these emotions have their place and have their, like Ecclesiastes, I said it right, Ecclesiastes, they're all part of it, and we have to have an all-encompassing way of being in the world. Otherwise, we're just going to keep fighting and trying to push away the darkness and try to hold on to the positive and push the negative, and that brings us to one of our other memes that Lisa wrote, distance yourself from negativity. And I loved what she said when we talked about this. She said, how the hell do you do that? Where do you go?
Even in the happiest place on earth, which is Disney World, in case there was a question, there's still things that happen. There is no place that's a distance from. Yeah, but shouldn't you distance yourself from negative people and toxic people? If you ask that question, you might be one of the negative, toxic people that somebody needs to get away from. There's just no such thing. Look, I'm not saying that no contact or low contact with someone isn't the right thing. Sometimes it will be. There's plenty of relationship situations where distance might be the best idea. But to say that distancing yourself from negativity is even possible, that would be a superhuman feat. How would you go about doing that?
And I think it's important too to realize that when we're around negative people or negative situations, what we don't like is not the person, it's the way we feel when we're around them. So really we just don't like our own feelings, and we don't like the discomfort of it. And if we can learn to get comfortable with discomfort, then we can be around anybody. And look, again, realistic view of it, you don't need to go looking for negative people, you don't need to be best friends with negative people and hang out with them, but you don't need to go out of your way to try to manipulate reality so that you don't experience any of that. I had one client that had really bad anxiety, and he wouldn't like look at the newspaper. He would walk away from conversations about bad stuff happening in the world because he was so afraid of his mind picking up that story and running with it and the anxiety that would come from it. So it wasn't the stories, it wasn't the scary stuff in the news, it was his own emotions, it was himself that he was afraid of. And until he started getting more comfortable with himself, did he start opening up to, maybe watching the news for a few minutes or reading a scary story in the newspaper. Life is suffering.
Who said it?
Dr. Jordan Peterson. I think the Buddha said that. I think Dr. Peterson saved it.
Oh.
That's right.
Your low battery? Darn it.
Still good. We're still on. It's eating up our data. We only have a few minutes left, about 10 minutes left or less. So if there's any questions you guys have, or any other memes, and of course you guys can message us privately and let us know what we can talk about. We're going to try to do this once a month, and then we have a live, well, this is live, but we have
the face-to-face
one at my studio once a month as well.
June 30th, by the way.
Yes, the unhappy solution to happiness. We hope that you guys will be there because it's going to be fun. And we're going to have a giveaway too, a month unlimited at my yoga studio to one very special, well, you're all special, but one winner.
Random.
Random.
So negative people, that's another thing. How do you label somebody as negative? Well, it's because they're always looking at the dark side of things. Well, that doesn't make them negative. Maybe they're just afraid. Maybe they're just afraid to think positive because they've been hurt so many times. And so they're just done with thinking positive. It doesn't mean they're a negative person. Oh, I distance myself from negative people. Well,
Nancy.
Why should it bother you so, negative Nancy? Other people's moods and words, unless they're resonating with something inside you, shouldn't rile you up so much. It shouldn't get so much of a reaction out of us, right? I used to not let my students eat in class. Remember the crinkling? If any of you had me as a student, I flip out. If I hear crinkling, it's the devil. And
it's negative.
It is just negative.
You gotta distance yourself.
And oh my God, please
and
stop.
And choose happiness.
Somebody
Look at all those hearts.
All the hearts. But then Mark said something. Okay, so Mark was in my class. He comes to teach a meditation. And I don't want to say her name. If you're watching,
you know who you are.
Yeah, you know you are. She talked the entire meditation with the cutest little voice in the world, but she just talked the entire day. Now, Mark is just even. He's just leading the meditation. Everything's nice. The whole room is just, and the girl she's talking to, she's meditating. I think she opened her eye once and just went back to meditating. Now I am, I have misophonia. Like I can't hear noises. I'm crawling out of my skin the entire time. So I said to Mark, well, what do? You're trying to lead a quiet meditation, and somebody's talking. And what was your advice? I forgot. It was really good. Something about reaching. Oh my
gosh, I'm gonna have to remember that.
Reaching out and grabbing the sound.
Oh, okay, yeah. So from a meditation master, Ajahn Chah. The monks, I guess there was some construction going on by their forest monastery, and the monks were complaining about it to the master, and the master said, it's not the sound that is bothering you, it's you going out and bothering the sound. The sound's just following its nature. It's coming, it's going, and you're the one chasing after it, saying it's bad, it's wrong, it shouldn't be this way. So it's the mind going out into the world, and so I didn't mind. She could talk. I mean, it is a little rude, but at the same time, if she's going to talk, she's going to talk. So
he didn't hear it, by the way.
Someone else said, but if someone else's anger is affecting my own peace, I'm going to remove/protect myself from it. Turn their negativity into a positive. Those people hate that. Points out their negativity. Yeah, I mean, look, if there's an abusive situation or some kind of, very unhealthy relationship, of course, distance yourself. But this is, I think, more of a general distance yourself from anything negative. Like if somebody is in a bad mood, you get away from them. If somebody comes in angry one day, get your negative chi out of my aura, man. Like just that airy-fairy nonsense, that's really what we're kind of debunking with that one.
And, somebody else's emotion can affect you. It's their words, maybe. It's their shouting, maybe. Did they throw something at you? Maybe. Those things bother us. Somebody else's emotions can't really touch us unless we're reaching out and grabbing it. Like I was reaching out to grab the noises that annoyed me. So now I realize, so it's not the crinkling of rappers. It's that the rappers crinkling were echoing and reaching inside me to something that's crinkly. It's me that's crinkling. It's not their noise. And so I said, you know what, you can eat in class now, and it hasn't bothered me since. Matter of fact, I think it's kind of cute. Reminds me of being at the movies.
Yeah, and sometimes you just need to make a vow to yourself too. Like, with my job, I don't really care for waking up really early and doing my job. But I was tired of getting mad at it, so I just finally made a vow. Listen, my job is going to be my job. I have to do it, and it is what it is. So I'm not going to get, frustrated with it anymore. And does that mean I don't react to things? No, but it means that I don't sit there and dwell in it. I don't think about how much I hate it and how much I want to leave, and none of that ever comes into play anymore. I see it as a thought. Oh, I'm so mad. I know my patterns. I know the way my mind works, and then I just let the stories play, and then eventually, any good song ends, any bad song ends. So any good or bad thought, it has to come to an end. If you just leave it alone. Meditation is the art or the practice of cultivating leaving things alone. You sit, you have your breath, and then a thought comes and you let it go. Your knee starts to hurt, you just see it, and you let it go. A feeling comes up, that's here, okay, you let it go. So it's a practice. What about the memes that say, let it be, and it is what it is? They can be very dismissive to people, to people's feelings, and it's not very compassionate. With any of this stuff, there's a time and a place. There's no you can't give one answer to every person. For me, you would say let it be or it is what it is, and I would get that, and it would, thank you for snapping me out. But if you have a very sensitive person, you need to have skillful means to get to their heart, so it's not about having the perfect quote that fits everybody, because that's a bunch of nonsense as well. It's being present fully in the moment and seeing what the appropriate response is for that particular person and situation and everything. So a great tool is 5 things I'm grateful for. Name those, and any negative gunk that might have splashed on you from somewhere else just fades away.
That's a great way to change the channel. Hey, if what you want to do is change the channel on your negative feelings, that's your choice. And gratitude it feels good. Gratitude always puts you in a mindset of, wow, I am enough, I have enough, everything's really great. But I also don't want to encourage the habit of changing the channel on your emotions. Mm-hmm. What's so terribly unpleasant about being sad, angry, and disappointed? If we're not latching onto it and judging it as something to be avoided, it comes and goes like anything else.
Yeah, and the biggest trap of these practices, spiritual practices especially, and these memes, is that we have to be happy all the time. It comes back to that, and you'll see almost in everything that comes up, it's like, but there's always the but. I want to face my sadness, but when's it going to go away? Or okay, I'll do this practice with my anxiety, but it's going to go away, right? And we have to watch for that. We have to just realize that, again, there is a multitude of emotions and thoughts and states of mind and situations that we're going to be in that are going to be all different flavors, and we need to learn to open our palate a little bit to those flavors. Without the valleys, there are no peaks. Wow,
there you go. Got some wise people, right?
Yeah. You guys don't even need us, so we might as well go. No, just kidding.
But the let it be, or it is what it is, I mean, sometimes those are conversation halters, because you're done listening to somebody complain at you, and you just, that's enough, I need to move on. So you say, well, it is what it is, I'm going to go get coffee now. But as Mark was saying, each situation will call for something different. Saying it is what it is means, well, there's nothing much you can do to change it. But there's also the person who might be telling you something that you could show them some compassion, like, oh, wow, that sounds really hard, or, to give them some sympathy, compassion, just to, compassionate listening or something, instead of using that as a way to dismiss things. But like I said, sometimes you need to end the conversation. So you say things like, let it be, it is what it is. It depends what you're dealing with.
Well, I think that may be our time for today.
Okay.
So first of all, thank you guys so much for tuning in instead of going out and doing something really exciting and fun. Not just but feel free to message us. My Instagram is at authormarkvanburen.com and Lisa's is at Belovedideas. Make sure you add us, you stay in touch with us, message us, let us know what you want to hear, because in a month we're going to be doing it again. So feel free to send us funny memes that you want debunked, or just any questions. I mean, we don't have to do memes every time. We can talk about a topic that you want to hear about, or whatever.
Questions, problems, send them and we'll get to them.
All right, guys, have a great night.
Be at peace.
Yeah. Namaste. Nama. Leave. Not nama. All right. One by one, we're going out.
Nighty night.
1, 2. End. Finish. Wow, they're all different.
That was cool.